I'm going to tell you a story. The name of the story is UBA. UBA is the name that is tied by a tangle. A tangled tangle unfolded. The last three tribes of an extinct tribe. Just as the illusion was about to take its last breath, I fell from the sky by an aeroplane. I was with Mrs. Allen, so I wasn't alone. Her partner's Clipper, that's me. This is not a landing. It was a heavy storm that brought us here. It was a big bird for the tribes who had never seen an airplane. They confused this with the story of the past. Not only that, but a name was given. That name is UBA. We are stuck in a great desert without a way to go. Instead of an idle engine, we got a name with life. Unraveling my tangles, UBA's life story changed and evolved. A very interesting story started like this because of a very unusual incident. I am ready to tell you the story of UBA as a series of stories. Besides, there will be our story behind it. Even if there are more stories or whatever stories are written, remember, this is UBA's story. In 1914 AD, at the beginning of the First World War, it was an analog era without even a digital dimension. Unevolved tribes existed then as now. They had a past. In other words, they had a story. But those stories are not just ordinary tales. They liked them to an extraordinary extent and worshipped them. Religion depended on myth. For others, they were fiction. But for them, they brought inspiration to live. They were waiting for a big bird. I am perfect in astral knowledge, so I was able to determine the direction to go by observing the night sky. But I cannot determine the distance. The sense of geography is also impossible to understand. I can say one thing for sure. That is, at the end of this sandy desert crossing, you will meet the ocean. Then you have to cross the ocean. I decided to set UBA as a sea vessel. That is why UBA had to be dragged across the desert. The tribes helped me with that because they had taken more rights than me. I drew the plan of UBA. Now everything is ready to perform. It is also your responsibility to wait patiently for the construction to be completed slowly. As I know very well that you have already boarded this ship with us. Just like you, someone else was watching all this. You must remember this episode that ended like this, because no one knows any evidence except you. If someone asks you, what is the only plane in the world that has sailed in all three mediums of sea, land and sky, say UBA. If they don't ask, teach them.